Yo, 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 and welcome to Across the Hobby. It's good to have you guys. As always, every week, the purpose of this episode is to look at the biggest auctions that sold last week and to look at the biggest auctions that are coming up this week. Usually we hit about 300 or 400 auctions total. I try to do it in about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Today I'm starting a little bit late, so we're going to try to go a little bit more quickly. And let's jump right into it. This episode will also be looking at a couple of other little things, including a giant mail day that I had this week, as well as something else that happened to me this week that sort of has me a little bit troubled. We'll do that in between talking about the biggest sales from last week. That's where we'll start. And then the biggest auctions from next week. Okay, let's start out with MC Sports Cards. MC last week had this Jaden Daniels Prism Snakeskin rookie, sell for $5,600. Chrome Disney case for $6,300. And then this Jordan that we looked at carefully closed at $24,600, the biggest auction last week by far from MC. As usual, I'm looking at just things from the last week from MC that sold for over $5,000 at auction. No buy it now is included. So 24,600, 4 doesn't sound very good, but when you look at this card closely, it looks a lot nicer than a 4. A great looking example. $8,100 for the round ball royalty refractor in a PSA 10, which was a Pop 44. And then the Jordan Kobe in a 9, not a 10, a 9 to $6,300. This Duncan Go Nuts PSA 8, $9,000. Looks to be pretty decent color on this one. No, it's only an 8. The color looked really good. Thought that one might do a little bit more. And $8,100 on the finest Kobe. The Big Country was one that I think a lot of people were really interested to see how it would sell, both because it's considered really like the set to a lot of people. Remember, this is also a 1997 Precious Metal Gems set from the same year as the red and the greens, just a lot rarer than the reds. There's only 50 of these, whereas there's 90 of each of the reds. Big Country does $7,600. I wonder, this is probably good for a quick card ladder moment. I wonder if, hopefully I can just log in right away. Otherwise, we probably won't be doing the card ladder moment. Come on, go quick. Go quick. I wonder where this falls in terms of the biggest Bryant Reeves cards ever to sell. We'll see if this pops up here in just a second. My computer, I think, is just being a little bit slow this morning. We'll come back here. There we go. Okay. So let's type in Bryant Reeves. Well, if I can spell, I think that's it. If we go Bryant Reeves and we sort by highest price, what are we going to get here? Oh, we're going to get Austin Reeves and Kobe Bryant. And I spelled Reeves wrong. I thought it was E-E. And I should have gone with that. Oh, my goodness. Bryant Reeves. Big Country. So a green sold in 2023 for $10,000 on a fixed price sale. Other than that, this is the most expensive Bryant Reeves ever. It's a PSA 7, very high grade on the set. So not shocking. $7,600 for a Jeter 2 of 9 from Fleer Tradition, starting 9. Oh, I don't know that set, but I wish that I did. That is really cool. Let's look at this one real quick, guys. I don't know this set. I feel bad I didn't take any time on it last week. So apparently Fleer Tradition, which is a $1.50 to $2 a pack product back in the late 90s, has an insert. Franchise Futures is what it says here, but look, see how this says 585S? That tells me this is actually this is a base card. 585 is a base card. But this one is serial numbered 2 of 9, and it says starting 9. This is going to be like starting 5 was in basketball. An incredibly difficult to find parallel. But make no mistake, this is a base card or a subset. Franchise Futures is probably a subset. And so there's only 9 of them. That's a crazy card. That is a crazy card. I was unaware of this set till this moment right now. And that doesn't happen to me a whole lot when it comes to the late 90s stuff, even baseball. A Fleer product like this, didn't know that it existed. That makes me also want to go check out. Let's do that. Let's do the same thing for this. I wonder if we go starting 9 and we put in 1999. I just wonder what kind of huge sales we've seen on that set ever. Is this, wow, that was the highest starting 9 sale ever? Wow, that shocks me. I would have guessed it would be far that you'd have some that were far more expensive. So MC Sports Cards coming in with the biggest starting 9 sale ever of the 558 that have been tracked. Very interesting. See, I look at this card right here. Now, granted, it did sell 7 months ago, so the world was a little bit different back then. But this card right here, ooh, here we go, which is not graded, but is just in a one touch. That sold for $4,000. I would personally rather have this card than the subset. With that said, subset's a great card. Subset's graded by PSA. It gives people some assurity. Some of these types of sets that look very similar to the regular card, but have some variance, which is like foil difference and a logo difference, that puts them in a different stratosphere in terms of rarity and value. Sometimes these types of cards don't end up doing as well over time because people worry about fakes. That's where PSA comes in, because at this point, a lot of people really feel like really comfortable with PSA grading this type of a card now. This Jeter was graded not that long ago. See, it's in the 11s. This card was graded in like the last year, whereas this one's not graded. But if that one is graded, I'd much rather have it than this starting 9 subset up above. You also have the bonds that sold for $4,000 back in 2024. All the biggest sales are in the last couple of years. Very interesting, guys. All right, thanks for looking at that one with me. Let's come back here, and we'll just highlight a few more briefly. The Larry Johnson sold for $5,100, and now we're back. That's through the end of last week. Okay. Let's go to hoodies. Hoodies had just a couple of cards that sold last week for over 5,000, but I wanted to highlight them. So the Shohei Superfractor autograph that looks like, what year is that? 1959. Forget what. It probably says it on here. Yeah, 1959. Look at that. I got it. The 1959 All-Star subset out of Topps sold for $7,600. The Immaculate Ant Morant SGA triple redemption sold for almost 15,000. This Luka, I didn't notice, but you know what this one reminds me of? Luka had another 1-in-1 card where his autograph really got lost because they didn't have like a signing area for him. It's in some ways it's too bad. I like when the card can be sort of unobstructed by the signing area and the autograph really shines. But in this case, they said, nope, we're just going to put the signing area right there. Luka will know where to sign. And yeah. So on Luka, I had a friend reach out to me this week, and then I saw lots and lots of other people talking about it. Luka does not have a card in the new Topps product, which has a lot of people really curious to know whether he will be able to be in Topps products. It's a great question. The friend who reached out to me said he had a suspicion. I don't want to misrepresent what he said, but he basically said, hey, what if he's not in any Topps products going forward? And my eyebrows went up, and I thought, oh my goodness, that could be the biggest news ever. But the thing that I don't understand about that, and I tried to express this to him, was I don't understand how a player can block themselves from the Players Association or from the league using his image in that way for cards. I didn't know that was even possible. I don't know that that's possible. I'm not sure that that's possible. What I am sure of is historically, in my memory, I only know of players being, once they're part of the Players Association, once they're in the NBA, their likeness is usable, period, for cards, and that's it. Is there a chance that this is a short-term thing that I don't understand? Is it? I don't know. I'm not sure, but that's going to be something that's going to be worth watching, I think. And then we have this 1-in-1 LeBron All-Star 8,300. And this Steph 1-in-1 redemption for $8,000. Then there's a couple of cards that we looked at really closely. This Logoman tag that is from a Mavericks uniform. We're not sure what the writing is that's on it. Sold for almost $16,000. We talked about that one a lot last week. And then the Color Blast with Luka in a Laker uniform. PSA 10 Pop 2. It's a huge card, $9,700, especially huge because he's in a Lakers uniform. Alt had a huge auction, guys. We looked really closely at this Tiger last week because we saw that there had been another Tiger that had sold recently. And if you remember, what we did is we came into here, into Card Ladder, and we just had Tiger 2001 Upper Deck. We hit enter. We let it sort by highest. And what we found was that this one right here at Alt had been confirmed paid from last month, just from less than a month ago, sold for $218,000, a PSA 10, no autograph grade. And I said out loud, I was like, is this the same card? Did it just not get paid for, or is it a relist? It's a different card, guys. It's another one of the 25, also PSA 10. But one thing that you always want to look at with Alt is see down here, and I've had some people sort of explain this to me. There's sold, which is mean the payment has gone through, payment initiated, which means the payment has been initiated, it just hasn't cleared yet, and then there's pending, which means we're still waiting to see if that card gets paid for. Currently, this card has not been paid for. It was won on Thursday, and it's only Monday, so there's nothing unusual about that at all. I don't know how long they have to how long you have to pay, or you have to pay it at Alt. But what we can say definitively is that it hasn't been paid for yet. We also have, obviously these two big sales, and this 9.5 was watching it very closely because the subs on here are amazing. It's one of the best. I think it's like one of the best 20 to 20 something MJ Fleers that Beckett has ever graded in terms of their 40-point scale. And you have the LeBron BGS 1010 with 195 subgrade. I looked closely because there used to be one of these, and there might still be, that's in the gold labels, but actually is a black label. It has 4 10s, but it was before they implemented the black label. One of my favorite cards of the week was this quad. It's $66,000. These still seem to be, they lag behind so much the big 3 triples, and they always probably will. This is one of those rare situations where adding a guy like Magic Johnson makes the card worth significantly less. The duel here with MJ and LeBron, BGS 9510 to $64,000, $61,000 for the Josh Allen Contenders Gold rookie. Another one of these cards of the week. Saw my friend Cajun Cardboard talking about this one in a reel, and yeah, I had the Trae Young of this card. It sold for about half of this price, maybe a little bit more. It was like 35 or 40,000 back before the real boom. Back before things went really crazy, but before he got into the conference finals. I think this is one of the most interesting SGA cards. It's clearly not one of the most valuable, but it sort of feels like one that maybe should be. Remember, Optic is when you have like an Optic gold vinyl. That gold vinyl in basketball is numbered 1 of 1. This is the best one. This isn't the autograph version. This isn't an insert. This isn't another year. This is the rookie gold vinyl of SGA. And so seeing that at auction, I don't remember seeing that one. You check Card Ladder and see if it has been. But I think $57,000 on that was a great deal. Person has initiated payment. It's the sort of SGA that I would really like to have in my collection. It's not necessarily, it's not as well known as the Prism. It's a better looking card than the Prism, I think, by a lot. His Prism rookie doesn't say rookie on the front as part of an error. It does for Optic. The rated rookie is sort of this timeless logo. If it's all about like looks or what the story is that the card tells, I think this is better. I think this is a more interesting card than the Black Prism rookie. And I know I say that, and other people are jumping out their windows because everybody just views that as like the end all be all best card. And I get it. I get the branding is important and that sort of thing. But like, this is really cool. There's only one of them. $57,000 is a lot of money. I think that was a pretty good deal. That's my take. And Aaron Judge, really cool card here. Really cool. The only problem with this one, it right off if you've watched my content for a long time. The problem here is that you really wish that this shield or this logo, man, wherever you want to call it, you wish it was flipped around. You sort of wish they'd put the card in the other direction. It looks like I have to be logged into Alt. That's another thing that kind of bugs me about their platform. I don't, and this is the truth with other platforms too, I want to just be able to see the details. I don't want to have to log in and do all that other stuff. I want to just be able to see it. So, but that's okay. Not a big deal. So Alt had this Aaron Judge to 10, a purple. Boy, I haven't seen one of these in purple so for a long time. Actually, let me go back to the Judge real quick. This Judge real quick. The reason that I wanted to scroll and I wanted to do two things. I wanted to see if the autograph's on the card, and I wanted to see if this card is clear which way it should face directionally on the back. I suspect, I actually don't know. I have no idea whether it's faced the right way or not. But sometimes the card manufacturer creates an impossible situation for the grader. If this card is faced the right direction on the back, then this was an impossible question for the grader, because either the logo man will be right side up or the back will be right side up. And you want it where they can do both. This Aaron Judge is a great card. The Barkley is still pending. That is his black finite prism 1 of 1. Absolutely huge card. A couple of huge Jordans and a Wemby. Definitely a card that I was watching closely, and it's good to see that the payment has been initiated here. The Kevin Garnett Gold Prism from 2012. I own this card. Mine is the 5 of 10, which is the jersey number, and mine's a BGS 95. And I've sort of thought about it being around this range in value, but seeing a PSA 9 sell for that much, that's not as important of a serial number, it sort of got me excited. That made me feel like that was pretty cool, like a good result. See if there's anything else. So we'll stop there for alt. Go to Fanatics, and we will hit the first page on Fanatics. Really was interested to see how this Curry would do. Was really interested. Talked about it a lot last week. You'll remember, we spent a lot of time on this Curry card last week, and what we discovered was that the majority, and this is a crazy stat, but the majority of 9.5 chrome refractors, so chrome refractors of Curry that are graded 9.5, there's only 500 of them, and something like 121 or 101 or something. Those ones have been graded BGS 9.5s. The majority of them have a 9 corner grade. Not only did the majority of them have a 9 grade somewhere, the majority of them have a 9 corner grade. Then you have a bunch of 9 edge grades, 9 surface grades, 9 centering grades. Turns out there's only about 20 of these that are all 9.5s or better. Then what's even weirder is that there's like 0, and I shouldn't say like, there are 0 with 2 10s and 2 9.5s. The reason that I say that's incredibly weird is there are 3 10s that have 3 10s and 1 9.5. How you end up with three cards with 3 10s and 1 9.5, but no cards with 2 10s and 2 9.5s? I don't really understand, because you have like a medium, right? You have something that's in the middle, and then it sort of goes out from there. How they're ended up with 3 of those, and that's crazy to me. But that sort of thing happens. I'm not implying anything there, by the way. You might say, "Oh, Adam's implying that something funny happened. Why is Beckett, bumping these 10s or whatever?" I don't know. I have no idea. But it is sort of like a statistical anomaly in my mind. But not crazy. Just, I guess, not totally crazy, but seems a little funny. A 9 on the Messi. Man, the Messi has rallied so massively to the point where a 9 on this card was the second most valuable card, sports card in the auction. A 10 on this sort of secondary Messi 2004 rookie card sells for almost as much as here. And then somebody pointed out, I think it was VVG pointed out, this 10, this black label 10 sold for $30,000. It's just the base card. It's a huge, huge sale. And a reminder that the black label to a lot of people does really matter. BGS 9.5 or 8.5 does 28. Another secondary Messi for 25. The Kaboom from 2024. Steph. It's a cool looking card. PSA 10, 24 grand. The Jordan, this is the second year main issue star card. Card that generally is fairly a lot easier on condition. There's a lot of really nice copies of this card. Remember, they came in a bag, so they were well protected from the beginning. And unlike those ones from 84, most of these were well centered. Still a phenomenal card. And I think you could argue a much better looking card than the ones made the year before it. This one with 3 9.5s and a 10 sub, $23,400. Be interesting to look at that card in more in depth. I've always loved this set. I will always love the set. I almost bought a complete graded set version of the Rose Zeros for my friend Steve. We ended up not doing that deal, but I love this set. And one of the very early, very nice Kobe Bryants. The question, of course, on this card is it a base card? And to some people like me, they sort of view it more as a parallel. To other people like Steve, it's viewed more as a base card. There's 3 different rows, right? There's row, actually 97, there's 4 different rows 0, 1, 2, and 3. I always forget how many rows there are based on years. In fact, I got that wrong the other day. Then another card. So this is really interesting. This card sells for 21,000 and this card sells for 22,800. A reminder that people really care deeply about grades. Oh, I almost missed the Crow Armstrong too. This card, numbered to 5, the red, the really key red Crow Armstrong, 22,200. I've heard some people say that he's really struggled. They were surprised to see that still sell for that amount, but such a big prospect. One of his biggest cards still yields 22 grand. There's the Messi secondary for 21,000. And then again, this Jordan, I just continue to think it's one of the most underrated Jordan cards ever. It's one of his very first serial numbered cards. I say one of his very first. I want to make this clear. In fact, I've got this Beckett out right here. So check this out, guys. This Beckett right here is from August 1997. I'm missing most of the 97 and some of the 96 Beckett's. But if I had all of them, and if I had the time to just go out and research it, one thing that I'd like to know, and I don't think it would take a tremendous amount of time, I'd like to know which came first, the EX or Showcase, because I want to know which one of those was the first serial numbered basketball card. It's either these or the EX Credentials. Those are the only two options. So for this year, in 96, you've only got 3 rows, and row 0 is the best one. It just is. It's the best aesthetically. It was the hardest of those in the non-legacy versions to pull. And I think it's just really a beautiful card. It's got a really soft back and a glossy front with the 2 images of Jordan. Obviously you can see those, and it sort of has in fact, I'll let you look at this more closely. And then we're going to hurry and get to the big auctions of this week. I know I'm taking a little bit too long on this, so I'm aware of that. If you scroll in though on this, one thing that you're going to find, it sort of has this early white sparkle look to it. I would scroll in really far, but if you haven't seen one of these in person, even the non-legacies are just beautiful, wonderful looking cards. So definitely take a look at those. We're going to stop there for Fanatics. I'd like to keep going, but we're going to stop there. And then Golden had they had their vintage auction, and you can see, I thought I sorted this by highest, but I guess I didn't. If you sort by highest, you're going to see 2 Babe Ruths at the top. It's interesting, the order that they go in, though. The second image, this is the first Ruth image right here. This is the one. When you think of rookie cards, you think of this, and you see, you can see that Golden called it out here, rookie card. And see, they don't call out rookie card here because 1917 is like a secondary year card. If I was buying a Ruth from this era, I would not prioritize condition as much as I would prioritize that earliest image. This would be amazing. I would love to own one of these, and I've talked in the past about how much I love this card. But this one right here from 1916, newly discovered. I wish I sort of knew about this one beforehand. I would have loved to have done a story on this one. But 3 Ruths lead the way, and 8 Gowdy, a rookie card that's newly discovered but not in the best condition, and then a 1917, which is a Pop 1 higher grade copy. And I'll just sort of scroll through here real quick. You can see a lot of, it looks like basically everything's baseball at the top here. But the whole auction isn't baseball. As you can see, this basketball, 1971. Oh, I love that. I love that set. So 1971 basketball has one of my favorite vintage cards of all, which is the Wilt Chamberlain with the pink background. I almost put together a full PSA run on that. It's the only card I've ever done that with. I had a PSA 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9. 7's an easy one to get. I never added it. But I sold my 9 for like $5 or $6 grand, and last week one sold for like $10,000. So that set is really a beloved set by those of us who love vintage basketball. 52 pack. 52 packs are interesting because you don't know what series they are. I want to look at that real quick and see if it says. GAI used to sometimes put the series on them, which I don't understand how they could do that because I don't see the difference in the cards or in the packs. I'm not sure why that didn't open when I just clicked on it. Let's try clicking on it again. Golden site might just be giving us a little bit of a tough time. We're going to call that. We're going to say that's a sign for us to stop looking at it. So now, before we go on to the biggest auctions of this week, which we'll do momentarily, I wanted to just sort of give you guys a PSA, a public service announcement that is important, near and dear to my heart. make myself big to do this. So one of the things I feel that members of our community and people generally in the world care far too much about is follower count. I think people care way too much about how many people follow them. And I think people care way too much about how many people follow other people. I see people who are like, I'm going to give, you can feel it sometimes. They don't say it overtly, but people will sort of give more respect to people who have more followers. And I just want you to know that's insane. I want you to know that's insane because a huge percentage of the large accounts out there, unfortunately, have, how do we say this? They have manipulated what they look like. They've attempted to make themselves look greater than they are. There's various ways of doing this as far as I understand. You can, I believe, purchase followers. You can purchase people to watch your content. You can obviously boost your content. Most of the social platforms want you to pay them money so that your stuff will be more seen. I've never done that, by the way. I've never paid a penny for any of that, and I never will. And that's a hard thing because especially when you're like me, when you're trying to make your living in this, there's a total temptation to do that. There's nothing morally wrong with boosting things. I don't think that's the reason that they provide it. That's the reason that a place like Instagram will do that. But I literally have never done it once and I will never do it. So there's all these different ways of getting your stuff seen. But one of them that is more devious is like by buying followers or by buying people to like your content or make comments. You can look at people's content sometimes and go, that's really, I don't know if that was very good. I didn't find that very appealing. And then you look at their comments and you'll see there's a whole bunch of comments. You'll be like, wow, I guess I was wrong about this. And then you scroll through the comments and you realize these are not real comments. These are fake comments. These are comments that have been purchased. And I see it all the time. I'm not perfect at knowing what's real and what's not. Let me be very clear. I am not. What I can say definitively is I have never bought any of that stuff. Not once, and I never will. I have never done it. To make it completely clear, I have never done it and I never will. So with that said, this week something weird happened. And this has happened to me one other time before where I looked at my followers and I do notice all of my, all my notifications. I check them far more than is healthy. I see comments and that's why I respond to things as quickly as I do is because I'm always watching my notifications. So in fact, let's come in here real quick and let's hit refresh. Sometimes these are a little bit broken, but let's see what happens here. When we hit refresh on my Instagram, we're going to see something pop up here with notifications. So I have 1 comment and 4 likes since we started this episode. And we could click on that and we can see those, but that's not the purpose of what I wanted to do. What I wanted to show you was this. See this follower number here? I'm very proud of this. For all of you who follow me, thank you for following me. I've obviously given a lot of time to my this is what I do professionally. So every one of those is an important thing to me. And so thank you. And again, I've never bought a follower ever, and I never will. Let's look at this number though, real quick, and let's show you something that I think is interesting. So if you click on this, you're going to see, so of the first 5, this is not what I thought I would see, but of the first 5, you see 4 of them have pictures. And if you sort of come over here and you hover over them, you can see this guy, CZ Sports Card. Thank you for the follow, dude. I appreciate it. You can see this dude appears like a real guy. He's got 15 posts. He's got over 1,000 followers. He's following over 600 people. And then you've got Dusty Draws Things A1. Dusty also looks real. He's got a whole bunch of posts. He's got a bunch of followers. He's following a bunch of people. Sam is not posting, but he's got a fair number of followers, following a bunch. And then we've got this dude, Perry, who's got 310 followers. He's following 2,261 people. That's a lot of people, but still, he's got a bunch of posts. This sort of makes sense. Robert Phillips. See Robert with all of his numbers at the end of his name there. Oh my goodness. I just realized I don't have the screen up. Sorry, guys. Let me put this back up. And then all those things that I was just talking about will make a lot more sense. So I just took you through this guy. I took you through this guy. I took you through this guy, and I took you through this guy. But I haven't looked at this guy yet, but I have a sneaking suspicion because something has happened this week that irks me. Robert Phillips right here, number 2 guy. I'm not going to highlight over him yet. See all the numbers at the end of his name? This week, had something really weird happen, and I've had something like this happen only once before, where a ton of people followed me within a course of a couple of days that are totally obvious bots. Most of them have a name followed by a bunch of numbers. They don't have a picture or an avatar. They're just following a few people. And I don't know why this happens. I don't know what the purpose is. I don't know why suddenly I've got like several hundred of these guys following me all at once. But what I do know is that I went through and I deleted, I don't know what number of them, but I think it was probably 50 to 100. It took me a while because you can only do it one at a time. You have to go through and like click the buttons. And it took me, I don't know, 20 minutes, maybe half an hour to go through and delete a whole bunch of them, because you don't want to delete somebody who's not a real follower. But look at this guy. Yep, sure enough. Robert Phillips has 0 posts, 0 followers. He's following 3 people. Let's see who Robert's following. He's following me and 2 other people. I have no idea who they are. ICC and RLY.slow. I don't know why so many of these guys followed me all at the same time. Now, I've had a couple of posts that have been pretty engaged with. I'll show you here in just a second. So I was like, am I sure that some of these guys are fake? They just have to be, though. Like, look, these are the ones. Yeah, okay. Olga, Samantha, Maria, Katya, Best. These are all Petr. These are all the same things. 0 followers, 0 posts, 0 following. 006. Maria White, 002. Samantha, 005. Olga, 004. These are fake accounts. I'm going to have to go through and delete these guys too. Diana, let's see. Is Kevin real? Kevin might be real. Let's see. Is Kevin real? For some reason, it's not working now. It's like my internet died on me or something. Sorry, this page isn't available. Maybe this guy's gone now. Anyway, the reason that I say all of this, there's a couple of things. Number one, first and foremost, do not judge people by how many followers they have. Some of the smartest people that I know in the hobby have followers in the hundreds. It's true. They don't have a huge number of followers. Just because I have 23.8 thousand followers does not make me no more or smarter or more respected or anything than anybody else. Also, there are people out there with hundreds of thousands of followers who may not be as worth following as people who have fewer than that. Don't follow people and not follow people based on their following numbers. Don't view them based on that. And know that so much of this is smoke and mirrors. And even people who are like, I will never, ever play with this. I will never try to increase them. Like, even they have people who, like, even they have bots who follow them. So I just tell you guys all that because I think it's an important lesson today. And I see so many people who just want that. Don't pay for followers. Heck, maybe you'll be like me and just have fake people follow you, even if you don't pay for them. The question that I have is, why does that happen? And when I asked that question on my Instagram, some people were like, oh, Adam, this happens all the time. I'm surprised you haven't noticed before. What's weird about this is over a couple days, it's like somebody turned the faucet on. It was just like suddenly I would click on here and my notifications would be like, you have 4 likes and you have 7 followers. And I'd be like, hold up. That's weird. That's not how this usually goes. Usually it's like you get a bunch of likes and then you get 1 follower and it's like, oh, hey, I got a new follower. That's really cool. But this isn't organic. It's not normal. It's wrong. It shouldn't happen. And I don't like it. And people are like, why is it a big deal? What does it do? I'm not sure it does anything bad. I don't know if it does anything bad, but I did have one of my clients tell me that they had the software that basically looks at your like likes and your comments and your real engagement, basically. Not just likes, not just comments, but like the type of accounts that they're coming from, the type of contents that you're getting. It sort of like analyzes all that and it spits out like a rating that shows how organic or how real it was. And I had one of these auction houses tell me, and this was a while ago, but they said to me that I had the best metric of that they'd ever seen. And I was really proud of that because I was like, well, that's cool because I haven't done anything weird. I've just done it the right way. And so anyway, that's probably more than you guys wanted to hear about that. Now that we're 34 minutes into the show, let's get to the main point, which is to look at the biggest auctions from last week. And as always, we're going to start with MC Sports Cards. I've already done my top 10 for MC this week. By the way, if you come in, you will see them here. These are the top 10 items that I have this week. I did that beforehand. I don't usually do that, but I wanted to do that this week. And you'll notice this Bryce Harper right here is the first card that pops up. It's really an interesting Bryce Harper, guys, because his main Bowman Chrome that everybody knows and loves is from the year after. Reminded me of the 1985 Mark McGwire, that's his first major league card, and it's with Team USA, and here Bryce is in 2010 with Team USA. These are things that I'm still discovering because I don't know baseball and football and the other sports as well as I know basketball, and I'm still discovering new things in basketball all the time. But I think that that's pretty cool, that it's a gold refractor from the year before. Makes me, if I was a Bryce Harper fan, it's one of the sort of cards that I'd be interested in. Aaron Rodgers only played 2 years with the Jets. This is his first year gold vinyl out of Optic. And although football does not always have gold vinyls that are numbered to 1, this one is numbered to 1. Both of the first 2 years of Finest MJs have PSA 10s up right now, both the 93 and you'll see in a minute the 94. The 94 is lower pop, but the 93 is first. The 94 also, you have to, if you want to get a true pop count, you need to add the non-protector versions with the protector versions. I say versions, it just means that some of them have had the peel removed. There weren't 2 different versions that came out of packs. It's just that some have the peel still intact and some don't. Jamar Chase is flawless. Dual, very cool. Dual patch, and both of them are Nikes. Numbered to 5, the Emerald. A Kaboom of Anthony Davis from 2013. Why is that important? That's the first year of Kaboom. Now, Anthony Davis does not exactly have the greatest following at this point. Most of his big cards don't sell for a ton. So it's interesting because Kaboom's not his rookie year, but Kaboom is so loved and people are so into the first year that a Kaboom of Anthony Davis is $5,000. How many AD cards at this point will sell for $5,000? Not very many, including most of his Prism Golds. You want to tell me like the most shocking thing of this era to me, if you ask me that, seeing Kabooms valued higher than gold Prism cards to me is amazing. That's just insane. Now, to be clear, this is not going to sell for nearly as much as his 2012 gold is, which is his rookie year and his first one. But I think if you were to compare this to like a 2013, in fact, let's check Card Ladder on this. Let's just come in here and type in Anthony Davis, and we're going to sort by highest. And you're going to have some at the top where it's like all these rookies, right? But if we scroll down, not very far, and we get to like the $10,000 and under area. So like 2015, here's a Logoman autograph from 2015. So this sold this year for $12,000. I wonder, can I do this by year? Can I just do 20 sold this year? I think I can. Let's just do all of 2025, shall we? Actually, yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm an idiot. Let's just use this. We're just going to do 2025. I think if I do that, it'll give me just 2025, right? Okay, cool. And it's sorted, and it's Anthony Davis. So all Anthony Davis cards from 2025. And we get down into this area. Okay, so alt confirmed paid 2018 Kaboom Gold BGS 9.5, $8,800. National Treasures autograph. I don't know exactly what that is. 1 of 1. Then we get another Kaboom. This one, a 2013 confirmed paid, $5,400. Then we get like these other. So we've got like basically logo men, triple autos where Anthony Davis is not the main guy. We've got the silver Prism. I actually was watching this one. I love that card so much. Like this. Okay, so this is insane to me. Again, insane. The Prism Silver Anthony Davis rookie card autograph. Autograph's not on card, but it is a full Anthony Davis autograph because that's back when he would sign the stickers with his full autograph. PSA 10. Look at this. Look at this card, guys. This card sold for $3,200. Sorry, it's taking a second. This card sold for $3,200. You can't see it, but it's a PSA 10. $3,200, and this one's $5,100 with 5 hours to go. This speaks to how people feel about Kaboom at this point. So many people have bought in that a second year card, again, it's Pop 11. I get it. It's a PSA 10. I get it. It's from the first year of Kaboom. Totally get it. But like, this is his rookie card autograph from the first year of Prism. It's numbered to 25 and its pop is way lower than 11. And it's going to sell for a fraction of what this sells for. What do you think about that? To non-Kaboom people like me, it's like, this is insane. But to people who love Kaboom and they're thinking about like the history of it, I get it. I get it. I looked at this a couple years ago and when I saw that Kaboom was clearly going to be the insert of the era, and I thought, you know what you should do is you should go get all the PSA 10s of the first year stuff, but the pops weren't low enough for me to be interested. I would like look at that and then look at a bunch of other stuff, and it was just like, it's just not interesting to me. But the market has spoken, and the market has determined that this stuff is worth a ton, and I don't get it. I don't. But what do I know? So 19, and you know, I say, what do I know flippantly, right? I say that in sort of like an arrogant way. I'm wrong about things all the time. I've been wrong about things over and over and over and over again. What I think doesn't really matter. I will share with you what I think, but I've been wrong so many different times. I told the story over and over again about how the Topps Steph Curry rookie was the most insane thing ever back in like what year was it? Like 2018, 2017, when stuff started selling for like 2016, when you started seeing like PSA 10s of the base card sell for $400, I was like, this is insane. People are crazy. This doesn't make any sense. And in retrospect, I was just wrong. I know I was wrong. There's a chance at some point I'll collect Kaboom. I mean, there really is. I just don't get it. That's where I'm at right now. And maybe I'll change. Okay, so here's the MJ, the other MJ PSA 10. Notice that it's with peel. I like that. Notice both of them have been reholdered. They both have their earlier cert numbers, but they're in the new holders, which means they are reholdered cards. The Pelé here is awesome from 1962. I don't know the set. I don't know its significance based on its size. It's probably a sticker, maybe. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's something else that fit into a booklet. But most of these are like sticker type cards. What we do know is that it's autographed, and the autograph's been assessed to 10. And those early Pele autographs are pretty cool. They're pretty neat. I'm going to skip this Mahomes Kelsey PSA 10 optic downtown duo. It's pretty cool. I like this Griffey. It's only at $761. It's PSA 8. It does just squeak into the 90s. 1999 Topps Gold Finest. I do think this came with a peel. I might be wrong about that. I don't know baseball as well as I know basketball. I had a Kobe of the same design. Mine wasn't the gems, but was the regular card. And I sold it a few years ago for far less than I wish I would have. Should have hung on to that one. I love this Tom Brady. And I always say it. Look closely at the autograph here. Look how much time that he took. In fact, I'll make it big and we can look at the details on that one here. I love this Brady too. It's only signed 2 years later. At this point, Brady had won a Super Bowl. We did know how great he was. But when he signed this card right here, we did not know. We had no idea who he would become. He's looking at himself there in a Michigan uniform, and nobody knew. And this is, again, where I think the hobby gets things wrong. There's so many Brady. No, I don't want to say this wrong. There are more Brady. There are far more Brady Patriots autographs than there are Michigan Wolverines autographs. And people say like, well, we don't like to see him in a Wolverine uniform. Like, we want to see him as he's remembered. And I get that. Okay, I get it. But he had so many more of them signed over the years. And this one was signed so much earlier. People try to compare this to basketball. And they try to say, well, Michael Jordan's autographs in a Bulls uniform are worth far more than his UNC autographs. So why would it be any different with Brady? Well, there's a massive difference. And that is that Brady came out in 2000 and Michael Jordan came out in 1984. Michael Jordan didn't have a UNC autograph that was signed in 1984. And dare I say, if he did, it would be one of the most valuable collected things ever. Can you imagine if Michael Jordan had an autograph from 1984, UNC jersey, and it came out in packs and it was limited to say like 200 copies or something? Can you imagine how sought after that would be? This is where comparing players across era is so broken, and people lose the nuance. They lose the story. They lose the narrative. They don't understand. To me, this is like one of the coolest Tom Brady autographs in the world. Look at the time that he spent on that thing. It's like it's sort of like we can see the shades of what it looks like now, or even when he got to like Contenders, because he signed this one before Contenders, you could see how it had developed. But here he was still like in his infancy of learning to sign his autograph. And yet it signs for a lot less, or it sells for a lot less because he's in a Michigan uniform. And I think it's crazy. But again, what do I know? Okay, I'm taking too long here. I love the Kobe. At one point, somebody owned like 50 of the 75 of these cards. I don't know what the exact count is, but the cards were so valuable because he was just trying to get all of them. And then he sold them all off, or somebody bought them from him and they were sold all off. And then they tanked in value. It's kind of a cool story. What would you rather have, a Montana 9 or a Rice 9? They're almost identical right now. A Kobe PSA Authentic Ovation autograph. It's one of those like Avery label autographs, but it does have a piece of game used something on it. It's very cool. Messi in a 9. A very interesting Kobe Bryant card here. There's a lot of people putting together these runs of refractors. Well, 2002 was not the toughest year to get a PSA 10, but it is still not easy. There's only 55 of them. It's just under $1,000. Shohei Chrome Hidden Gems Refractor 1825. Messi Gold, Neon Green, numbered to 99. Another Kobe autograph. This one's a sticker, numbered to 10. But it is. I say that it's a sticker immediately. Where I should go immediately is that it's a gold prism insert. And the fact that it's numbered to 10 really matters. Love this Dave Robinson. This is the final year of Exquisite. He signed the Proverbs 1-7 scripture reference there on the bottom, along with his number. That's a pretty big, nice Admiral autograph. Another one of my absolute favorites of the week. I love this Baron Davis. The autograph might be a little bit dark, but the patch is really like top notch. Unreal. Mailman autograph. This is when Mailman was like, there was Jordan and Malone's autographs in like at the highest level across several of the products this year. Holographics was the same way. This was Series 2, I think, Upper Deck, and that this was like one of the key cards you could pull that year. Jordan was obviously worth way more than Mailman, but Mailman was secondary to that, and it was like just those two guys would sign for a set, or maybe just a few more guys would sign. That's a huge card, and this sort of stuff of Malone often sells pretty well. It's also number 1 of 32, which is really neat. Sosa and Griffey. I didn't notice this one this morning, or this would have gone on my top 10. I love this card. We're going to take a really close look at that one. A Brady rookie at a 199, a Brady autograph from his 4th year in the league. Really cool Brady auto here from 6th year in the league. Neat Herbert as well. James Wood, BGS 9, Topps Prospect autograph. This SGA RPA did go on my list. This Josh Cribbs did not because of the set that it's in. The set that it's in is huge, but because it's the autograph. I think there's like 100 autographs. In fact, we could do the research. I'm going to keep moving. There's just too many things to go through. Huge Cristiano Ronaldo sticker. Another huge Pele autograph. Oh man, this Junior Caminero autograph patch. I think I'm saying his name right. Caminero. His Dynasty rookie patch auto is awesome. Mahomes Select True Gold Concourse, only at 270 from 2022. Justin Herbert crossover RPA. Now there's 2 of these Ruths. They're both numbered to 10. Both of them have really interesting language on the back. We'll look at that here in a sec. The language is identical. We're only going to look at one of the 2. A big, nice Gary Payton limited logos from 03. This Griffey is another card that I highlighted on my top 10. Had I noticed the other one, I would have put it there. LeBron's patch out of Flawless is interesting because he's not a signer for any of the Panini years, but he does have some really cool patches that are sort of consistent year over year. If you wanted a crazy cool project, and yes, this would be expensive, but not as expensive as many projects in this industry. What if you got each of the years of Flawless jumbo patches for LeBron James? He has them starting in 2012 all the way to 2024, 13 years. And each of them have a green, right? Emerald's one of the parallels that they did every year for the jumbo patch. This is a huge card right here. Kevin Durant Flawless Nike swoosh. MJ in a 9. Really cool LaMelo Ball with the jump man. Tom Brady 8.5 on the rookie. Man, you've got to love this Anthony Edwards card. That card, I'm going to look at this one more closely. That thing is just phenomenal. 2024 Flawless, they came out with some of the craziest looking cards, guys. The holofoil usage is just fantastic. Really neat Michael Jordan autograph. This is called people called it like a shadow box. I don't know if that's what its actual name is, but it's a really neat card. $880 on the Stockton BGS 9. I love this Vince Carter. It's at $510. It's his first Noble nameplates, and there's 99 total Vince Carter Noble nameplates across 5 years. One's numbered to 9, and one's numbered to 15. LaDainian Tomlinson contenders. There's an iconic card from the early 2000s. A Steph Curry gold tops, and then this. I'll tell you, this is sort of like if you want to drop something in front of somebody who's not a member, not in the hobby, and say, just try to explain this. This Steph Curry card's been graded an 8. There's 2,009 of them across all conditions. It's at $6,100. Doesn't have any autograph or any piece of uniform or anything like that. This Steph Curry card, there's only 18 of, and it has a piece of patch, really unbelievably colored piece of patch, and it's incredibly well designed. And that patch is from NBA Finals Game 2 in 2019, and it's 1/3 the cost of that. Rarer, more difficult to make, more expensive to make, has an incredibly important piece of uniform on it that he wore in a game, and it's worth 1/3 the price. It's an interesting, crazy hobby that we have. Topps Chrome Steph, and then the last one of the day is the LeBron Optic from 2024, the downtown prism. So huge card there. A bunch of huge cards ending. Let's go look at this one. So the souvenirs. Oh yeah, I love this. Had I seen this would have been up there for one of my favorite cards of the week. So Sosa, let's read the back. Personally autographed by Sosa and Griffey. On the front are authentic bat pieces that they wore in Major League Baseball, or that they used in a Major League Baseball game. Sosa's bat, Griffey's bat. The autographs don't touch. The autographs are both phenomenal. Sosa's goes into the black here. Can't tell if it goes off card, but the coolest part to me, it was graded freaking forever ago, and that is awesome. In fact, when was it graded? Let's tell you guys. Beckett. When was this graded? Now, you might be saying, Adam, why do you care about this? Like, this is a baseball card. You don't like baseball. You might say, Adam, like, why do you care about a Ken Griffey Jr., Sammy Sosa card, like duo? What does that matter? Why is my internet giving me such a hard time? So if I know you guys can't see this real quick, but I'm just trying real quick. Beckett graded card lookup. So when I go there, which I should have opened before I started the show, and I type in these numbers, 1, 2, 8, 7, 1, 3. Oh shoot, 1, 2. Hold on 1 second. Okay, had a little bit of a stoppage time there. Sorry about that, guys. So this card was graded in September of 2001. This card was graded in September of 2001. It is a 2001 card. So back in 2001, somebody pulled this thing out of a pack, and the world of grading back then, it was just a really different world. People got cards graded a lot less frequently, thinking about spending $20 or after all the shipping and everything, I might have to spend $30 to grade this card. It didn't make sense to us. And so, back in 2001, just a couple years after Beckett started operations with grading, somebody pulled this card out of a pack. It was their biggest pull ever, and they got the card graded, got a 7.5, and here it is still in that case. Like I love this card. Had I seen this might have been my favorite card of the week. 7 on corners, 7.5 on edges, out of a $1.50 pack. The reason that I like cards like this is because it was such an important part of innovation. Upper Deck was like, okay, how do we sell our MVP product? It's just cheap. It's got mostly like these like white bordered cards in it that like nobody wants. What can we do? Because at the same time, they wanted to produce cards that everybody could afford. And at this time, people were pack searching, so they were looking to buy, like, they were looking to go to places where they would let you get the packs in your hand and sort of like bend them a little bit so you could find like the most rigid cards and say, oh, I probably found a back card in this product, or a jersey card or whatever. And there were a lot of different game used souvenirs. Most of them are like, still not super expensive today, but they're really hard to put together those sets because they only made a few hundred of them. They're not serial numbered. But somebody, like, it's at that around that same point, people were sort of like, maybe we should just buy full boxes, because if you buy single packs, you're not going to have any chance of getting any of these types of cards. So you could be a kid though, and you could buy this box for like $40 and have a small chance, but a legit chance of pulling something huge. So I really like this card a lot. I mean, it's not cheap, right? It's a lot of money, but these guys were both active players at this point. Isn't this, what year was it that Sosa hit 60 something? Wasn't it 2001? It was around the same era where Sosa and McGwire were, both chasing the home run record. It might have been 2001. I should know that off the top of my head, but I sometimes don't remember some of those years very well. The Ruth right here, I wanted to look at it closely with you guys because I think the language here on the back is really neat. So the enclosed piece of jersey was cut from an authentic jersey personally worn by Babe Ruth in an official Major League Baseball game in 1930. The authentic game-worn jersey was obtained and is guaranteed by the Donruss Trading Card Company. And then you get a full image of the jersey. It's huge. It's numbered to 10. There's 2 of them up this week. When this card came out, when this card came out, I was on my mission. I was in England when this one came out, but there were ones that came out just before this, and then a couple of years after this, where this was like the biggest thing you could pull in baseball cards. Like, somebody opened this probably sitting in a card shop, and they lost their minds. And now all these years later, it's still worth a lot of money, but it's not viewed in the same light. And part of me is like not sure why. These Ruth pieces are still so cool. And you can say, "Oh, I don't even like that it has the OF here." Like, I think, who cares if he was like an outfielder or whatever. I think it's interesting they didn't use pitcher, right? Because we think of Babe Ruth more as a pitcher. But no, I really like that card a lot. Okay, we talked about the Ruth. I'm gonna put the Sosa up here as maybe like one of my favorite cards of the week. I know that sounds crazy, the Sosa Griffey, but I really do like it a lot. And then I wanted to look at this Anthony Edwards because, again, like, flawless, and give MC a lot of credit. MC has nailed the imaging on this. A lot of the other companies, they just do scans, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's some pros and cons. But MC takes pictures, and that allows you to see the beauty of this card here. You could get a video too, where the video sort of like tilts back and forth, and you could see like the rainbowy effect. But this image does a really good job of that. And even if you don't like Anthony Edwards, man, like that card is just, it's really, really pretty. Okay, let's go to hoodies. So what you've got to know about hoodies this week, guys. Hoodies has their Hoodies High-End Monthly auction, and they have some absolutely huge cards that are ending. Right now, this is sorted by, we just have the auction items up, and it's by highest first. And you'll notice that these all say that they end 6 days from now. The first 12 items, 16 items, they're all 6 days from now. So this is next Sunday. So you've got a little bit of time before these end. But as we look through and you look at each of the different items, you're going to go, oh, wow, this really is a pretty big auction. To give you an idea, here in the top 2 rows, you have an early Jordan autograph, an Ultimate Jordan autograph, a Luka Lakers autograph, one of the first one of those in existence, a PSA 10 MJ Netrageous, one of the earlier sort of like difficult inserts in a high grade, especially in PSA 10. The Messi in a PSA 10 from 2004. We know we've seen those every week, seemingly on the highest auctions of the week. And then a Michael Jordan signed 20,000 point game scorecard. We're going to look at each of these. And then the second most expensive, which I didn't even mention, is this Anthony Edwards, which is an all-star game used patch autograph. A lot of good stories up here this week. For me, by far, the one that I'm most interested in watching is this Ovation piece of history. And the reason for that is it's one of the very earliest autographed shoe cards. I say shoe cards. I'm pretty sure it's a shoe card, isn't it? Oh, I'm clicking in the wrong place. Sorry, I'm losing my mind. Lost my mind for just a second. I was like, why isn't this working? That was user error by me. Let's look at the language on the back of this. You have received a piece of history trading card personally autographed by Michael Jordan. This trading card was autographed in the presence of a representative Upper Deck company. Certificate expressly warrants the authenticity of the depicted athlete's signature. On the front of this card is an authentic piece of a shoe worn by Michael Jordan in an NBA game. We hope you enjoy this piece of NBA history. It's with the Upper Deck company, blah, 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 blah. So, and then you look at the front. There's the piece of shoe. There's the autograph. Beckett gave this autograph a 10, and you can see that it's numbered 4 out of 23 down here. Now, you can also see this card is in a Beckett holder. It's not a particularly old Beckett holder. It's also not brand new. It's a few years old. But unfortunately, it's one thing that you're going to notice is that there are a few things on the holder. See this down here? This is not on the card. This is not on the card. It's on the holder. Can you get that out of the holder? I'm not sure. I don't know. I do know that this is really zoomed in, so maybe it's not as big of an eyesore as it appears just looking at it on here. It probably isn't. What I do know is it's one of his very first shoe autographs. The only one that I know that was made before this was the Holographics. Shoe Time was made in 1999. And then I believe there might be one other one that was out of one of the Jordan-only Masters collection sets. But that's it. There's not very many Jordan shoe autographs. There's far more that are jersey autographs. There's also an SPX Winning Materials that has like shoe and jersey that was around this era. So there's several sets, but one of the earlier shoe autographs. And Ovation was such a tough product, man. It was like one of these ones where it's like, what am I looking for? Do I get a big rookie? If I don't get a big rookie, I'm probably not getting anything. You might get a simple autograph that might be okay, but I watched people open a ton of this stuff and like just never get anything. Like dozens of boxes and never see them get anything. That will be one of my favorite cards of the week, though. Certainly one of my favorites of the week. So I'll put it up here. Okay, I want to look at this Anthony Edwards. I want to look at this Kobe. I want to look at this Luka and the scorecard. Yeah, just another huge auction. Though every month the hoodies high-end auction is huge. This Kaboom's from the 2018, the first football set, huge Josh Allen rookie card. The two different Walter Payton autograph jerseys, one from SP Authentic, one from Cindy Legends, both from 99. Oh, an Anthony Edwards gold prism, PSA 9. That's a huge piece. An autograph of Shohei, heavy lumber. That's a huge piece. The Kobe MJ non-refractor, the based East-West. That's a big card. The Breeze in a black refractor. Wow, that's a really big piece. I think that's the rarest version. We're going to highlight that one and go find out for sure. Ooh, we got to look at this Epic 4. Johnson, Mazeroski, Hornsby, Frankie. I can't see who the rest of that is. So we'll look at that really carefully. This is on my watch list right now. I used to have this card, the 2012 Isaiah Thomas Prism Gold. Remember, that's a rookie for him. And remember how big of a deal Isaiah Thomas was there for a little bit? Make sure I didn't go through these any quicker than I should. Cool Paolo. I love this SGA. That's so cool. 2024 Flawless is pretty awesome, guys. Massive, massive props to Panini for going out the right way. I do want to say, I think I should do a video on this. Panini did a masterful job. They weren't perfect, but they did a masterful job. Ooh, Sean Kemp. PMG Champ. Oh my goodness. One of my very favorite cards. I love this card so much. I'm going to talk about that one here in a second. This Pee Wee Reese is fantastic too. Some of the better cards in this auction are actually sitting lower right now in price, from my perspective. Love that Damon Stoudemire. I love this Ginobili. That's one of his best cards. The Spanish version. and then a Credentials Vin Baker, and then a Tim Duncan Apparitions out of 100. Boy, I highlighted about 10 cards here. I wanted to look at this ant because I want to see the language on the back. Enclosed game worn used material, blah, 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 blah. So I think, so it doesn't say anything about All-Star Game on it. I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm crazy. I'm wrong about a lot of things. But they said, oh, I thought it said All-Star jersey in the thing. It doesn't. Okay. Sorry. I think I just went crazy there for a second. I mean, it's an amazing looking card. Let's just say that. Like, this is beautiful. Ant's autograph is phenomenal. He like went from having a crappy autograph to having an awesome autograph, which is totally opposite any other athlete I've ever known. Usually they start out well and then they just get worse. But this is awesome. It's centered, it's long, it's almost legible. The patch, though, I mean, like this reminds me of 04 limited logos. It's rarer than 04 limited logos. In a lot of ways, it's nicer looking. I mean, the holofoil, the lighter bits, there's no wasted space. That's a wonderful card. Kind of shocking, but I'm gonna put it over here as one of my favorites of the week. Okay, Kobe. See, like aesthetically, like look at the Kobe and then look at the ant. No, don't get me wrong. I'd rather have the Kobe, period. But and aesthetically, this is a great looking card. But compare that to the ant. The ant is just amazing. Great patch here on the Kobe. Out of 10, it is playing days. The autograph's a 10 too, right? Yep. That's a really cool card. Luka, again, 2024 flawless. I'm just going to have a lot of these 2024 flawless cards that catch my eye. It's the Laker uniform, right? He signed that as a Laker. Still in the flawless case. Okay. Frank Brakowski, Anthony Avent, Fred Roberts. So does that mean it's against the Bucks? It's got to be, right? Eric Murdoch, Blue Edwards. Oh, yeah, this is that Bucks team. It's got to say it along the top. Milwaukee Bucks, yep. If there was any doubt that I was a 90s basketball fan. So we got Danny Shays, John Barry, Brad Lowhouse, Lee Mayberry, Todd Day, Fred Roberts. Man, there's some names on here. But then on the other side, you got B.J. Armstrong, Michael Jordan. It says underneath Michael Jordan, or in between, it says 619 games, 350 something, 20,000. I need to look at that more closely. Bill Cartwright, Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant. At the top, Bulls, Phil Jackson, total points, 103.89. Is that what that says? Each of their numbers. But then you scroll down to this and look at this. MJ's signature. Big, bold, strong, in pen, right across right here. So if we come back, poor Bill Cartwright didn't have enough going on for his points. so MJ put his signature right there. And then look, they marked it 20,000 points right there. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'm going to tell a story about this one this week, guys. I need to look into it more deeply, but during his game, he crossed the 20,000 point mark. Now, MJ ended up crossing, he hit 30,000, didn't he, when he was with the Wizards? I suppose we could look that up, but it's authenticated by PSA. It's got a Jordan autograph. It's from a really key moment. I mean, that's a really neat piece. It's not a card. Most of us are card collectors. But if you're not just a card collector and you're looking at like a neat piece that like represents a moment in history, there's not very much stuff that goes up for auction where you're like, oh, that's a really crazy piece for Michael Jordan. That's as crazy as this one. So during his game, they scored 20,000 points. The official scorekeeper kept score on this. And you can see how they tracked the players' points. Like you can see, for example, that MJ scored 30, right? Oh, it says 35 in the end. So 30 is by 2s and 3s. And then I don't know how they kept score exactly, but it says he's got 35 points in the game. Are there like 3-pointers? Oh, free throws. So free throws. So he's got Sorry, he's got 30. I want to understand this. They circle the 30, and then he's got 3 free throws. So that gives him 33. Well, how does he get to 35? Where do they mark 3-pointers on this? I don't know where they marked 3-pointers, but I think they must have done it somewhere. He must have had 2 3-pointers that game. That's my guess, but what do I know? What do I know? I'll see if I can do some more research and give you guys something kind of cool on that. Watch my stories at the Real 27 guy. Okay, I'm being long-winded as usual. I need to go move faster. So for Drew Brees, the question here, I just realized I'm not signed into my Beckett account. I'm gonna check this real quick. Hold on one sec, guys. So I logged into my Beckett account while I was off there for a second and found, and this is so interesting to me. So Drew Brees' regular card is numbered to 999. And it doesn't say refractor or anything else on it. I think it might be a refractor, but the regular card is numbered to 999. Here's what's interesting, and I didn't realize this until I looked at the Beckett checklist. Check this out at the top. It's not called a black refractor. It's just called a refractor. This is the only variation that was made in 2001. So, and it's numbered to 100. It's the rarest, and there's only that one version. Obviously, Drew Brees was a huge name. So that's really a cool card. If I was a Drew Brees collector, that would be something that would be toward the top of the list for me. This is one of the coolest cards that's up this week for sure. From 2006, so it's almost 20 years old now. Hornsby, Frankie Frisch, Mazeroski, and Davey Johnson all on the same card. All 4 bat barrels, obviously a 1-of-1 from the Epic product from 2006, Upper Deck Epic. Very cool. And it comes, look at that. I just love that. The card just like bulging out. That's why it's not graded. You sort of wonder like what holder can I put it in? But that piece right there, I can't tell who that is. That's so cool. That must be the Hornsby. Hornsby's on top, so it's the Frisch. Yeah, that's so neat. 1-of-1 on that. Okay, so Isaiah had like some really big important moments in the NBA, right? Huge moments. But we don't think of him as being like some great rookie of the era because he flamed out early. He got hurt. That's why he flamed out early. But man, he was great for a couple of years. $1,600. I think this is a really interesting card. I think when all is said and done, you'll be able to make the case that he's probably a top 10 rookie from this class because there's 2 rookie classes here. That's why I would even say 10. For most classes, he'd be a top 5 guy. His peak was so high. Like he was so good, but it was just for a couple of seasons, unfortunately. And then Danny Ainge did him wrong. Oof. Okay, I love this card, and you don't see this one come up for sale very often. Now, this card probably isn't viewed the same way that it used to be. This used to be considered really like one of the Tim Duncan cards. But now that we have more Admiral Duncan cards, maybe people feel differently, but I don't. And here's why. This is the only duel that was made of these two while Tim Duncan was in the NBA. And for that matter, while David Robinson was in the NBA. So what I'm going to do here is this. I'm all over the place here. Sorry, guys. I'm going to look at this card in Card Ladder because I want to see how often it sells. It used to never sell. Duncan Robinson Press Pass. Used to never sell. Now we've got one in September. We've got one at Heritage that sold in July. Gosh, $3,100 for the one in September, $1,400 for the one in July. Then there's some dual jerseys. Then you get back to January. No. Okay, so it still doesn't move very often, guys. Oh, this is by price. This isn't by date. We only have 2 records of this card? That's shocking to me. I knew it was going to be low, but I didn't realize it was going to be that low. And Heritage was for the... Okay, I got to look at this Heritage one. Got to look at the image here so we understand. Oh, look at this, guys. This was for Duncan and Robinson, but we can't see the back. Now, sometimes you can go like this. And I think that's going to work for us here because it's with Heritage. I think this was a really good deal. Heritage. Yeah. 49 out of 100, and it had the dual jersey with it too. And the dual jersey wasn't an easy one either. Number to 325, but not as nice as the autograph. That's graded to 7.5. So from that perspective, it's not as high, right? But I think with this one, it was more about getting the card. I'm still shocked there's only 2. I wonder if, for whatever reason, we're not seeing more. But for whatever reason, Card Ladder only has this card in here twice. And one of the 2 times it comes with a jersey that was more than free. Somehow, including the jersey made it sell for a better deal. I knew these used to not sell very often. Like very, very rarely would you ever see one of these sold. But I am shocked to see it only on here twice. The thing that's clear is that it's at $598. The autograph on here is really blue. The card's graded in 8.5. And then let me come back here one more time. So the only one that did sell, let's compare it to this card real quick. This one looks pretty blue too. In fact, is this the same copy? This might be the same copy. Ends in 430. It's not a different copy. What do you guys think? Compare the blue on here to here. This one look a little bit bluer, maybe? That looks really nice right there. So I can click on this. This one's at Fanatics. Looks pretty good. 26 out of 100. So the last time one of these sold, it sold for $3,100. And now we have this one that's going to sell at Hoodies this week. I love that card. I've always loved that card. I remember when it came out, I was 14, 15 years old. Yeah, I like that card a lot. If you're a Duncan guy, or if you're a San Antonio guy, there's not much better than this. It doesn't have the hype that like some of the other stuff has had. There's only 100 of them. You compare this to like some of the number to 100 parallels and inserts of the day. I just think it's crazy. I would much prefer this card over a lot of those cards. So anyway, that's gonna be one of my favorites of the week. And I think you must have a massive Spurs fan selling out of their stuff, because this is, for a lot of people, this is the best Ginobili rookie card. Number to 99 this year, the rarest refractor that they made. This is the Spanish version of the card. One thing that's never been made clear to me, and I tried to figure it out at one point, was whether there's 99 of both versions. And I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know if there's 40. I think there's 99 of both versions, but I don't know for sure. For sure. If you can point me to that, I would love to hear it. So that's it for hoodies. What an auction for hoodies, though, guys. Holy smokes. That's definitely the longest we've ever taken on a hoodies auction. Their auctions just get better and better. Okay, let's look at alt. We're just going to look just the first few items at alt. The Steph. I'm surprised that it doesn't say on the outside what the pop is, but I know you can click on the inside. Alt does a very good job of this, of showing us what the pop is. Maybe my internet's not doing well. Let's hit refresh. And pop 29. So that's the story here. There's 29 PSA 10s of this card. There are just a few more PSA 10s of this card as there were golds that were made. It's another way to think about it. We've seen the BGS 9.5 obviously sell for a lot recently, but this is the first time that we've seen a PSA 10 sell in a little while. I gotta go check Card Ladder on this one, guys. Sorry. Stephen Curry Chrome Refractor PSA 10. So if I do that, and I should probably also include 2009 because we've got stuff from the last couple years that'll make its way into there. And oh, I now realize what the issue was with that David Robinson. It's that I have this highlighted, the after January 1st, 2025. You guys are probably screaming at me as you watch this. Sorry about that. I'm not going to go back and do the David Robinson, but do go back and check that, because still there's only 2 that was sold this year. That's good to know. Okay, so 74. Let's click on this. So Coleman, our buddy Coleman, sold a PSA 9 of this card earlier this year. And then there PSA 8 that sold. Here's a PSA DNA, has the gold autograph on it. I remember when that one sold. That sold for $42,000. Here's a PSA 10. Okay, this will be interesting. So April 24th, 2025, this sold for $90,000. Now here's what's really interesting. I remember when this card sold, people were like, gosh, that's so much money. And I mean, it is, right? It's a lot of money, $90,000 for a chrome refractor numbered to 500. That's the last time one of them sold, right? Since then, we've got a gold sold for 178. It was a PSA 6. We've got a gold that sold for 184. It's awesome. Okay, so but as far as like the 10 goes, where did the 10 go? I like lost it. Sorry, guys. Here it is. But as far as 10s go, this is the last one to sell for $90,000. So this almost matches this one right here. The BGS 8, number 1 of 50 that Patrol Cards won. Go check out his Instagram right now. He's got this card. That's public knowledge. I'm not sharing anything that's not public there. He has this card, the 1 of 50. I love it. I have talked to him about it. I really like the card. It's sold for $184,000, which people thought was a ton of money at the time. And then a PSA 10, not a month later, of the regular refractor sold for $90,000. Fast forward to the most recent data points. A 6 of the gold sold for almost as much as the 8, which was 1 of 50, sold for. Now, why am I showing you guys this? Well, these aren't the same. We have to sort of triangulate things a little bit to sort of try to anticipate what will happen. I don't know what will happen with this PSA 10. I don't know. We know what it's bid up to right now. But what I do know is when the 1 of 50 that's an 8 sells for 184, and then a period of time later, one that's not 1 of 50, it's just a random number, and it's not an 8, it's a 6, sells for almost as much as the 8 did, that means that the card's trend during that period is significantly up. That's what I take from that. Okay. So almost the same period. It's a little bit off, right? It's a month later that the 10 sold than this gold, but it goes from 90 to, and you can see the card ladder has a significantly higher value on this card now. It goes from 90 to whatever it's at now. I have no idea what it will sell for, obviously. And I've gotten so discombobulated. I don't even know where I am anymore. It's a really big card. There's 29 of them. If you compare this to any other chrome refractor ever, I did a reel on this a long time ago. And what I said is, like, I think this is by far and away the best chrome refractor rookie ever made. And I meant it, and I do still feel that way. I don't think it's even close. Nothing is even in the same ballpark. The LeBron, and I said this back during the pandemic too, guys, it was never close. The Kobe is the closest, especially now because he has like very few that are 10s and have the right color. Curry doesn't have the color thing to worry about. There's no greening Currys, right? But the population is just so much less. I've done this with you guys before. I'm not going to bore you with it again, but the Steph in a 10 compared to the other guys in a 10, it's just so, and it's just across all grades so much rarer. So Anyway, I've belabored that, but I'm really interested to see how it does at this auction. So take that for what it's worth. Okay, so we took a long time on Steph. I don't know why it's being slow. Let's see. We're gonna give it just a minute more. Kobe, check out the coloring on the Kobe here. The Mahomes 3 of 5. Huge card in an 8. The Kobe 10 of 25 on the Star Swatch signatures. I believe that is his only Star Swatch signatures, at least from his playing days. A couple other big Kobe's, MJ, NFL tag. Is there anything else down here that I really need to see? Wilt 1010. Kobe Platinum 9.5. Oh, that's a big card. That's a really big card. I haven't seen one of those for sale in a while. I owned one of these at one point. There was only 5 of them or 4 of them that had been graded at that point. In a 9.5. That's a really rare card, guys. When was the last time one of those sold? I would guess it has been a long time ago since one of those is sold. And we're going to check it. I don't remember the last time one sold. This might be my old copy. Yeah, see, told you, bought 4. So that's going to be a really interesting one. So let's check this. I don't remember one of these ever selling. Yeah, I do. One sold for a lot at one point, I think. Am I remember that wrong? BGS 945 Ultra Platinum. Okay, and we're going to just sort by highest. Because if one sold, it's going to be at the highest. Yeah, there it is. That's right, the golden cell. So there's 2 golden cells in 2021. They both sold for right at 40 grand, and that was the last time that we saw one sell. There was also one in 2020, and those are going to be the only ones until you go back to 2012 at the Fanatics Weekly. So back when it was PWCC, and it was PWCC for another 10 years after this, there was one that sold for 7 grand. And then there are these 2 sales right here in 2021 where they sold for $40,000. But make no mistake, guys, this is a huge card. I think this will sell for 40 grand again or more. I think it will. I think it should. Not for me to say what something should sell for, but put it this way. You've got the same number of this card in a BGS 9.5 as you have credentials in PSA 10s. I don't know if there is one of these in a PSA 10. Oh, there's 8 PSA 10s. Wow. 8 PSA 10s of that card. That's really surprising to me. I didn't know that. There's only 4 9.5s though. Yeah, that's a huge piece. So we'll see how far Beckett's fallen, because I look at this and I think about it as a Beckett card. I don't think about it as a PSA card. Maybe I should change my mind on that though. All right, that's enough of alt. We'll get out of alt there. Let's go to Golden. Golden's weekly. We start with an 8 Messi at $6,500 and a Brady autograph on Flawless at $6,200. We have this Jack Caglianone. I don't know how to say his last name. I looked it up at one point. I don't remember now, but the red is $6,000. The Kobe. I wanted to check gem rate on this Kobe. As I was planning, I thought, I'm going to check gem rate on that. How am I doing on time? Okay, I'm almost out of time, so I got to hurry here. But I wanted to check gem rate. I'm going to come here and hit universal search. And then I'm going to type in, wait, is it universal search? Might be universal pop report.